So, with the release of Kremlin Island, and the video you just saw, there might be some people who are wondering if there is any content that I cut or scrapped from Kremlin Island. Well, there was actually quite a bit that got scrapped from Kremlin Island, and actually saved some of the stuff because I might use them in the future. Some of them, yes, I will use in the future, but some of them not. I didn't save every single thing I scrapped because some of the stuff would take way too long to copy, and I just didn't feel like doing that. So I copied some of the notable things and more noticeably changed things. So let's get straight to it. There's not a whole lot, but it's still a bunch of scrapped stuff that would have been in Kremlin Island, but I ultimately changed for the better. Some of the stuff is going to be, or actually no, not some. Not much of it's going to be in future seasons, but anyway, let's just show you. So this would be like a floating pool that would just float around the island. I decided to cut this because it would be it'd be a little weird to have this floating around my island during winter, because right now the season is autumn in real life, so I feel like this would be not a good idea to release that during winter, and it just didn't fit my map at the time, so I just ultimately scrapped it for now. It's still a little unfinished. Didn't put in. It's still like missing a ton of props I didn't get to put on it yet. But yeah, that's the first one. Two like custom props I scrapped. This is a destroyed police car, destroyed Chapter 2 police car. I scrapped. I didn't have any uses for it, so I got rid of it and I set it aside in case I want to actually use it for something, which I will. I do plan on it. This thing is probably confusing a bunch of people. Edfex Postal Service was replaced by Snail Mail, which is the Save the World's mail company. This is probably not gonna be in Kremlin Island, just so you all know. But yeah, I just decided to save it because it was one of those things that I had to save because it was too funny not to. And if you're wondering what the prop is I'm using, it's this thing. That's what I'm using to make the sign. Anyway, now some of the noticeable buildings I have here. Now this one you might be looking at and wondering, it's just part of a building, like it doesn't have the rest of the building. So this would have been a map change for a future season of Kremlin Island for Shattered City. This is the clinics, No Sweat Insurance building. Basically, one of the future seasons would have had a meteor hit, like a bunch of meteors hit around the island, and one of them would have hit this building. But when I started to look at this, it started to look really bad. Like personally, this doesn't like look very good, so I scrapped it. So yeah, failed idea that I had. But yeah. Anyway, now looking at this. Now I showed you the police industry building on the map, and you're probably wondering why this one's scrapped. Well, after looking at the one on Kremlin Island, you'll realize that it looks a lot better than this. Which, this was my original idea, but then one of my friends, Dorito, said that looked boring and stupid there, which I agreed with him after noticing it. But yeah, it's basically like the building that's over there now. It's just a lot smaller and more like the original one from Rifto Hills. But yeah, nothing too special. I had a reason why I got rid of it. And this, the pawn shop. This, way before like I said before, this map has been in development since Chapter 2, Season 7 of, like, real-life Fortnite time. So, a year ago? Or, no, not a year ago. Yeah, a year ago. A year ago, I started development on this, Chapter 2, Season 7. And then when we got, the Greasy Grove Island, I used some of this, Dorito started making a custom pawn shop building with the gas station pieces. And then we just started, like, making pawn shop. But then it wasn't until we realized that that Epic decided to release the Tilted Island, which we completely got rid of this and used the actual one, because this one just it looks too plain and, like, bare bone. Personally, I don't know about you guys, but yeah, this was ultimately scrapped too, for a better cause. And then finally, this building, the Dodgy Brothers location on Homely Hedges, that has gone through so many changes. It has changed 3 or 4 times, that garage. Originally it was going to be a gas station, that was my first idea, but then I didn't really like the idea of a gas station being that high on a hill, so that got changed to just a garage. So, again, like I said, this was in development since Chapter 2, Season 7, so before we got, like, Chapter 3 garage stuff, I used the Chapter 2 garage stuff that was on the main island at the time, which was, in my opinion, some of the best stuff ever from that map. But of the release of Chapter 3, those garages completely died, and then I was forced to make my own. And then it wouldn't be until Chapter 3 Season 2 is when we got the Chapter 3 gas stations, which then ultimately replaced this custom one I made, and then I ended up using Chapter 3 ones because, you know, it makes sense. Yeah, it's nothing too special. And yeah, that is much of the scrap stuff from Kremlin Island that I originally had planned, but scrapped probably for the best. Some of the things obviously are going to be in future seasons. You might see these in future seasons, but other than that, this is just a bunch of scrap stuff from that. Obviously, this isn't everything. There was a lot more, but I didn't copy that stuff, mainly because I didn't feel like it. But I did save the stuff that was, I guess you could say, worth saving. Show the development of how far I came with that map. And yeah, just thought I'd show you guys this. I shall see you all in the next one. Thanks for watching. Adios.